Welcome back, everyone, to the Results Driven Podcast. Today we have a very special guest and another special guest. We've got Miguel, one of our students out of Louisville, and then we've got Coach Mike Reed, who's his one-on-one business coach who helps him analyze the things that are going right, that are going wrong, and helping us fix the bottlenecks in the business here. And we're going to have a really cool discussion around Miguel's journey. I think it's really important for everyone to understand the challenges, you know, the wins, and then the next challenge, and how we navigated the waters over the last few years to get to where we are. So, Mike, Miguel, welcome.
Thank you, man.
We like to bring people like you on and really share the journey, because I think a lot of people that are listening right now, they're facing a lot of the challenges and struggles that you had early on in your business. And I always think it's good to know what things did you do? What did you implement? What action did you take to help you break through that, to take your business to the next levels? Let's first start, we're going to rewind all the way back to when you were first introduced to Results Driven, which was about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So
it was a little less because Tall told me about it. One of you guys student is a good friend of mine. And I remember we were in Mexico, and him and his friend, I've been through the course. And he still is, and he was kind of telling me his experience and return investment.
He's like, dude, you got to go check these guys out.
I need to go to 2 days.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so you first went through, did you go straight to a 2-day, or did you end up doing the 4-week training? Or
Yeah, so it's crazy because, Hunter Gann, me and him used to do a little wholesaling as partnership back in the days. And he was like, man, you got to watch this training. I'd really never watched it. I would still have my full-time job. We were flipping houses. So I was like, man, you take care of that. We kind of do the sell side, or if we do keep us a rental, I'll fix it up. And so I really never I think I watched the first video and everything was so overwhelming because I had no idea about marketing or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then when Toll tells me about it, I did sign up for a week and I went through it. And, things started to click more because I had a little more experience. And then when we came to the 2-day, that's when everything was like mind-blowing,
Yeah.
Because I've been to a couple real estate conventions, and I never understood how to make it function like a business. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a fan of, I want to create a business, I wanted to actually build a business, not a second job. Otherwise, I can make $200K in my W-2 with less headache, right?
Right. And what's interesting about that, and a lot of people, I think, they don't put the pieces together, or they don't realize that, let me say it this way. I see a lot of people treat their real estate business like a side hustle, because most of us get started, and it truly is a side hustle when you get started.
It is for a while.
But there's a clear difference between learning how to construct a deal and completing one deal versus creating think of it like, it's one thing to learn how to flip a burger, but it's another thing to learn how to build a burger flipping business.
Right.
Where you can do it repeatedly, consistently. It's not predictable. So that was one thing that you recognized early on, which is great, that you're like, I don't want to create a 60-hour, 70-hour, 80-hour a week job for myself where I'm wearing all the hats, running like a madman in my business.
Exactly.
So let's go find the systems and processes and let's implement them. So you came out here, and what was that experience like?
So since I've been flipping and I had that mentality, I've constantly tried to see how to kind of systemize my flipping business. But obviously it's hard when, you got to kind of learn everything yourself and, trial and error. So I came in here and you guys lay down the whole, I told my ex-partner, business partner back then, I was like, man, this is like, they're giving you a franchise, but you don't have to give them a percentage back in a way, because he was like step by step how to hire people, marketing channels, what it is, how to make the phone, because you guys even had a pretty structured sales process. And I was like, man, all I have to do is literally follow a blueprint, and I'm really good at that, It's cool. I was good at cheating from the smart guy. So, it doesn't take much to basically copy and paste what you guys were doing. And that's exactly, when we went through the 2-day, that's how we started taking action.
Nice.
And a lot of the things that I learned, which is crazy, a lot of things that you guys talk about, hiring and all that, I started applying when I got back right away on my flipping business. Like creating SOPs and checklists and things like that around what was already doing during flipping houses, and that helped us a lot too.
So how are you acquiring your deals back then?
Just strictly from wholesalers and on the market. Yeah. So one thing we were running into is like, all right, if we want to do more volume, we got to be able to source our own deals at some point, and that's why we, obviously ended up coming in here. And, we have the blueprint, so now it's just about taking action.
Nice, man. So
one other thing I would like to add to that. So when Miguel first started, one of the key things we knew we needed to do, because he was solo, was we needed to clean up the other side of the business on the flips, so he had time to actually dedicate to this.
Otherwise, you're running out to all the houses being project manager, right?
Right. right? So we wanted to give him time, give him structure to his day, so that way when we were ready to bring somebody into the team, there was already structure there. So we weren't trying to learn that structure as we hire, because you and I both know if you try to bring somebody into a business that's falling apart is from a structure standpoint, you're not going to get consistency. So that was one of the things we focused on, and Miguel did a really good job of that.
That's an interesting point, Mike. There's, most people, because they're treating it like a side hustle, like we talked about, when they bring someone on, they're still running project manager. There's this person in their office, and they're just kind of like, yeah, roll with me. Watch what I do.
Yeah.
Maybe you can learn some things about houses, and maybe that will help you in your sales. And that's unfortunately just not how it works, right?
Exactly.
We've got to remove yourself to give yourself time back to then onboard this person the right way, so that way they can get your time back and you're no longer talking to sellers and so on. So,
Well, when I came here, I still had my full-time W-2 job. I was selling cars back then. We had just bought a commercial property that we've been working for almost a year, and me and my other business partner we were going to open a car lot. So, we come here and we get this clear picture of like real estate, and real estate is what's working for us right now. Mm-hmm. But I had 6 years of experience selling cars, so, obviously that's all I knew how to do. And, Coach Bo, and he's kind of asking, man, what's your goal? What are you going to do? And we started telling him his thing. He's like, man, you guys are making me crazy. Like, what do you want to do? You want to sell cars or you want to sell real estate, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we think we can flip while we do, because the flipping is kind of easy for us while we run the car business. Like, man, that's not really going to work. You got to pick what you want to do. So we get back to the hotel, and I remember my partner looking at me. He's like, man, like, why are we even opening a car lot? Like, this sounds much more attractive, and we can make as much money or more. It's more scalable. We got the blueprint, and I was like, dude, I agree with you 100%. So we ended up leasing that place out. I quit my job. I think we came February or March, and, we had some deals going and stuff on the flipping side. So we decided we're going to buy an office space. All right, so we want to take it to the next level. We purchased an office space, found one on the market, pretty good deal. We purchased it, and then we quit our jobs around May and April.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think I quit in April, and then he quits in May, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, we hire a product manager. First of all, we hire an admin. Mm-hmm. So things that I learned here, how to hire people, checklists, and things like that, I use for this admin person. Hire him. He started taking a lot of my plate, calling utilities, insurance, and other things that I didn't like doing. So I could just focus on finding deals. Mm-hmm. My business partner was focusing on helping with the rehab. Then we hired a product manager to take some of his plate. And that's how what's a team structure. And then basically I just focused on, I took the Accelerator course. So I focused on, setting all the marketing channels, data flicks, sending mail and all that. And I mean, we started getting deals. So I think we started marketing in June or July, and in September we had like 7 deals already we were working on, strictly from marketing. And my business partner, I came from a vacation in August, and he was like, hey man, I don't think this is for me. I don't really want to deal with like people. I want to do kind of like 5 deals a year and solo. And I was like, man, like, we have all this plan, but long story short, I understood. Kind of took different ways. Obviously I took a little hit because you kind of been with this partner for like almost 2 years, and you've built something. But quickly came back. I talked to the team that I had. I said, hey, look, this is what's going on. I still want you guys to be on my team. It's going to take a little time of transition. So started buying again, flipping, which is I kind of know what to do on that aspect. And then I signed up for the one-on-one in November of 2024. And then 2025 was all implemented, which might help a lot.
Yeah.
Helping me and make sure that leading that roadmap on how to do everything. So
nice. So to break it down, when you went back immediately after the workshop, you focused on structure with SOPs and processes. That helped you then leverage the hiring process, which then got you some of your time back. You built this team up somewhat while also going through, one of our other like programs.
Yeah.
And that's where you really learn the marketing. So you've got the people hired from the hiring process. You've got them onboarded. You've got your sales process and marketing, and you press go on marketing. Now you start to get some deals. This is when the partner comes in and says, yes, I want to go different ways. Yeah. So then you jump into the one-on-one. And what were some of the things that you focused on immediately after jumping into the one-on-one?
So one-on-one, like Mike was saying, is like with the team that I already have, how can we like tie that better so that flipping business won't take as much of my time, and then I can
that's
focus.
What you were saying,
on sale. With the you guys have the different levels of where your business is and where you want to get, what needs to happen to get there. So I told him, I said, man, I want to hire a closer by this date. What do I need to do for that? So started getting more deal flow and more lead flow. So I hired my first closer. And then from there, we just been kind of testing new, marketing channels and improving on the sales side. And keep buying flips. So now my flipping business is pretty much like I'm not too involved in that at all. And as a matter of fact, I might be hiring another product manager here soon. That's one of the goals for this year.
Nice.
So we can do more volume on that aspect. I ended up hiring in another closer in the summer. And then I'm like, well, I don't have time to dispose these deals. And I also been like so busy trying to learn more about the business because, the wholesaling business was basically new for me. So I'm like, I need someone who helps me dispose deal, but the way I can justify paying him is also he's going to find deals for me. Same thing I'm doing, calling wholesalers every day, agents, and just make sure he's out there on the meetups and, networking and meeting new wholesalers in town that we're the buyers. So he came in on board in October. And we bought like 4 deals every month after that until December. So I think we bought 13 deals to flip in the last 3 months of the 3 months of the year.
Nice.
And at the same time, he started this point too. So I saw an increase of our assignment fees because now we're doing one-time walkthroughs. We got people fighting for the house. He's doing a good job on that. So
it's not you saying, oh, okay, I got a relationship with this guy, and I don't really care if someone else offers me more. I just got to get it off my plate.
Exactly. And that's what was happening. Like, I was so busy that I was calling my good friend, hey, man, I got this deal. You want it? Yeah, I'll buy it for that. And then I was making 10, 15 in the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like, all right, I know we can buy for this, and I know my buddy can buy for this, but let's see who can pay more for it.
Yeah.
There's one-time investors that do the work themselves, and they pay a little more, so we're trying to focus on those niche. And that's what we've been doing. We had a $50,000 assignment fee in December, which is rare to see in our market, so that was great. It all came from being able to hire the key people for the team so that I can alleviate more time so I can spend 4 hours every day on the first to market challenge, So
what's interesting is you bring that up about hiring these people. One, real quick, what does your team look like today? And I've got a follow-up question to that.
Yeah, so I have an admin, which is kind of wear different hats right now, TC, a little bit of bookkeeping and property management for a small portfolio. And then I have a full-time project manager that handles all the rehab. We have a VA that is his assistant that helps him order the materials, make sure the orders are on track to be delivered to the house, help with scope of work, and puts together all the invoices that we get from our contractors on a weekly basis. So I can approve them, he can approve them. And then I have a dispo/acquisition for off-market property. So he is in charge of dispoing the deals that we get through wholesaling. And also he's in charge of bringing at least 4 deals every month from market, agents, referrals, whatever it is. He needs to bring 4 deals every month that we can flip. And then I have 2 closers.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so a well-built-out team. And I'm curious, a lot of times people in real estate, I see all the time, where people they're hesitant or they're scared or they look at employees as costs. Like, can you kind of walk through what was your mindset around hiring and like what made you feel more confident in going and taking on that responsibility?
So a lot of time is obviously it's a risk, and I think in business everything is risky, So you got to be willing to take that risk. What I was doing is I had this projection template, and I was looking how much money do I got projected coming in the next 3 months. Can I afford this employee? And if the answer is yes, then I have time to train that person. And if I break even in those 3 months, I think there's a chance that person is going to get better.
Right.
Because I believe if I'm doing 10 different things, I'm spending like 10% of my time on these different things. There's no way that someone spending 100% of their time doing that just one thing is going to get better than me. And I believe in building my employees to where they're actually better than me at what they need to do.
Right.
So that was my mentality. I'm like, if he's just displaying mainly or like prospecting with wholesalers and 8 hours every day doing that Monday through Friday, he's got to become better than I am at this.
Yep.
And for 3 months doing that, that's the results right there. And if I can afford his salary, hell yeah, because then the commission comes up after what he brings.
Right.
So that has been my mentality every time. Yeah. Like right now, I need another product manager. Our office is kind of small right now with how many people we got in there, but I'm like, well, my projects are getting delayed because my product manager is constantly handling 15, 17 rehabs. is a lot. So he does a great job. So for me going back and beat him up and say, man, you need to finish them in time, like I'm just gonna lose a great guy. So a lot of it's on my end, you know. So I'm like, all right, if I bring another prep manager, I split the liability, so he's doing 10. This other guy can do 10 at a time, or even 7 and 7. More time invested in those projects. They're gonna be done faster. We're gonna spend less money because we can track everything better, and we can do more volume. So now I can buy those $20,000, $18,000 deals that nobody wants to buy because we got the structure and the team in place to just crank them out on the market.
Right.
You know.
Well, what's interesting, there's 4 things I really want to point out for everyone that's listening. If you guys didn't catch this, the whole time you're talking about focusing on your return of bringing these people on, where far too many people focus on employees being a cost, it's an expense. And you said, if I just break even in 3 months, I'm confident after that, which like for acquisition reps and things of that nature, they should perform month 1.
Of course.
But the reality is like just any role. After 3 months, they're going to become better and better experts than you. And far too many people think that nobody's going to do it better than me. No. And that holds so many entrepreneurs back. And you also mentioned this. So the second thing to point out is, so cost versus returns, number 1. 2 is you mentioned that there is risk in business. I think we all would agree that in real estate, there's a ton of risk. In any business, there's a ton of risk. And we can never eliminate risk, but we can always reduce it. And we reduce it by getting educated, right?
Exactly.
And so you talked about, hey, yeah, there's risk, but you were also educated on the process to bring the right people in so you didn't waste any time bringing the wrong people in. You had the onboarding to get them up to speed quickly, and you were able to see the reward from that. So
I want to add one more thing into that too. So just by the time when he hired Alex, Miguel was solo on the phones, doing everything in the business. And it was just that time where we were doing updating our quarterly planner. And he put the goal, he's like, man, Mike, if I can get 2 to 3 deals this month on the wholesale side, I'll feel good. What I loved about that is even though Alex started a little bit slow, even within 45 days, we were already starting to see that 3 to 4 deals a month consistently. And, Miguel spent a lot of time making sure that Alex was up to speed. He had to come in and jump in to close some deals, but now it's at the point where Miguel very rarely has to jump in and close a deal now. The team's doing that because he trusted the process. He invested in the coaching. He invested in the sales pods to make sure that his team was getting the training they needed.
Well, that actually brings up a question that I have. What are your guys' conversations like when you guys meet?
Well, we talk about ramen sometimes too. The basics, like, Mike is always like, hey, man, what's going on? Tell me, what do you want to work on? And, I'm always bringing something that I'm struggling with or, like quarterly, we do talk about, hey, where you want to be or where, this is where you are now. What's going to take to get to the next steps, So
you guys basically pull up like a quarterly planner and you guys go through numbers and that's kind of like you said, okay, let's look at last quarter in review. This is what we hit. This was the target. Here's what we're on or off. And then we're going to recalibrate, right, for the next quarter. One thing
that was really helpful in the beginning, and since I was so new and all this marketing stuff, and I'm a numbers guy. Yeah. So like the fact that, and you guys talk about this in the 2-day too, you can say, okay, based on this much you spend every month, you're going to get X amount of calls, and X amount of calls based on industry standards should turn into X amount of deals. Just knowing that gave me so much confidence to start spending, $5,000-$10,000 in a direct mail campaign. And it happened, so the same mentality you have for marketing as far as like, I'm going to spend X amount to get this money back. It's similar to hiring employees. You know what I mean? It's like you get so much back. Like, I think if you spend money on marketing, worst case scenario, you're going to break even, but you're going to make money and you're going to learn. And sometimes that data and that experience, there's a price to it. Sometimes it's mistakes. Sometimes it's just doing it. And you hit, it's like Alex Hormozi said, in business, you're going to hit a bat, but you're going to hit the home run. It's going to happen. And it's going to be really, really, really good. And that's what I feel like we do every day, just hit in there and try to hit, not only hits, but find the home run.
Right.
Yeah. So, one of the things Miguel's gotten really good at as well is like at first it was always like he wanted the accountability of, hey, Mike, make sure I'm looking at my numbers. But he wasn't precise on reading them and what they meant. Recently, we were on a call, and Miguel shared with me his 2026 goals, which he had a full detailed plan with. So I was super impressed. I don't even know if I told you that on the call. I was very proud of you for being that proactive.
Thanks, man.
Because one of the things I've constantly worked on Miguel with is he is a action taker. He's a risk taker, and he's a doer. But he's also a little bit of a hustler.
Yeah.
And we had to get that hustler mindset out of it,
Yeah.
of having a plan to go through. And on our last call, it blew my mind because it's like Miguel transitioned after one conversation of like, hey, we have to get better at this because we're not going to be able to make data-driven decisions. On our next call, he literally had everything pulled up. He knew exactly where the deals were coming from. And I was just like, beautiful.
What I love about that is there's this concept that you hear us talk a lot about, which is be, do, have. In order to have the results that we want, have the business that we want, we have to first identify the person we have to become.
Yeah,
do those
100%.
things, right? And that's where you went to Mike, and you're like, hey, I know I need to do these things. I need to become this person. So hold me accountable to that. And that reminds me of this concept. You know, he mentioned that you've got some hustler inside of you, and a lot of entrepreneurs are that way.
Yeah.
But one of the best quotes I've ever heard is that in order for the CEO to come alive within you, the hustler must die.
Yeah.
And that was something that really hit hard to me. And I can just hear that's happening with you also.
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps. Look,
Yeah,
I
me
literally
too.
do.
Yeah,
'Cause I love
it is
seeing
dying.
stuff. I love seeing the growth. And but no, hats off to you, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of room for improvement. I think I got to get better at marketing and, seeing a little more consistency on the wholesaling side. But you guys have been great help. Mike has helped a lot. So I'm super excited what the future brings. And, I brought my team today, which I think is also a great thing of being in a one-on-one group. Just getting out of the office on a field trip, man. Yeah. Learn, you guys, every time, even when my girlfriend came with me last time, she was motivated, So, I think they're going to get a lot of good energy from it. Learn, and I want my employees to be successful as well, even if they want to do the business in the future. So they get to learn on these 2 days. And I think they're shadowing some of your team members today as well, so we're super excited for that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I always like to ask this question to wrap everything up. What's a piece of advice, if you could go back 2 years ago, right? So picture and imagine where you were, what your business looked like, mindset, all that stuff. What would you tell everyone who's listening right now who's in the same position or a similar position that you were back then?
I would say, take action. And let someone guide you. Sometimes we got this ego in ourselves where we don't like people telling us what to do. And also we like to reinvent the wheel all the time. And it's if you're seeing someone that's already doing it at the scale you guys are doing it, if you implement what they're doing, even if you do 30-20% of what you guys are doing revenue and volume wise, you're gonna be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So just take action and start implementing what your coach is telling you or what they're sharing here. I think a lot of people agree with this, but Results is one of the companies that you guys are really open with everything. You guys teach really what you guys are applying every day, and it's working. And I really love that transparency. And definitely I help my business. I help some of my friends that have taken you guys' course. So yeah, man, appreciate it.
And that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. I hope you guys got a lot of value and a few things to really point out. I loved Miguel talking, and really Coach Mike talking about Miguel being an action taker. That's one thing that I've really seen be the key difference between those who succeed and those who don't succeed. Far too often, too many people will get stuck in analysis paralysis, and we all know, especially in real estate, when we hesitate on a deal, for example, time kills all deals. It's the same as a business owner. When you hesitate on making decisions, you lose opportunity, you lose momentum. So I hope you guys took a lot away from this. Miguel had some great key points that he brought up. And also, for those of you who are interested in building a team, similar to like Miguel did, make sure you grab our hiring guide. It's a free step-by-step how to recruit, how to hire, how to onboard and manage a high-performing team. It's the exact systems and processes that we use each and every day, that we use to build our team that's been with us for, many of them over 5 years. So if you guys want a free resource to learn how to do that step by step, make sure you grab that in the show notes. And as always, stay results driven.